Tracy Ham and the Edmonton Eskimos are home and cooled out in first place in the CFL West. That leaves teams coached by these three men to fight for two other playoff spots. Joe Galat's BC Lions should be happy just to have a chance at a playoff spot after going 0-5, but it's a chance they do have, and a win tonight would enhance that possibility. The Calgary Stampeders would like to finish second where they are now and host the Western semifinal. A win tonight would virtually clinch a playoff spot for Kuharich's Stampeders. They're at home tonight to the BC Lions, meeting number 2 in the regular season between these clubs. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McMahon Stadium. I'm Dave Hodge. The Stampeders were burned through the air last week by Kent Austin of Saskatchewan, and tonight they face the top pass attack in the CFL, led by BC's Matt Dunnigan. The Stampeders would like to throw for more yardage. They will again start quarterback Terrence Jones, who has not finished a game that he has started yet, but the Stampeders don't really mind as long as he continues to post more wins than losses. Matt Dunnigan couldn't finish what he started 3 games ago against the Edmonton Eskimos. This hit sent him out of the game with an injury to his right hand. He wasn't supposed to play the next week, but play he did and engineer the miracle of Taylor Field. The last play victory that kept the Lions alive, and they got better last week, destroying the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Dunnigan to Williams and especially to Eric Streeter. A great game for the BC offense, and Matt Dunnigan, if not entirely healthy, seems back to form. He is now with Neil Lumsden.
Matt, the team dug themselves a pretty big hole at the start of the year. To this point now, it should be easy going.
Well, yeah, every game since our 0-5 start has been basically playoff football because we've been having to scratch and dig and claw and fight our way back to respectability and put ourselves in this opportunity. And we've been playing playoff football for a long time now, so tonight's no different than any other night.
I got the impression after you hurt your thumb and there were reports that you weren't going to play in the next game, you said, well, this is not the time to get hurt. I have to play. That's
right. I figured everybody's nicked this time of year. Unfortunately, it was, I got nicked on my throwing hand, which is crucial to a quarterback. But, I just told myself that I was going to be able to play. I was going to do everything possible, along with Bill Rochelle, our trainer, to get back to a percentage where I could contribute to the football team.
Have a good game tonight.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
All right.
And stay with us tonight. A big game in the Western playoff battle. BC at Calgary. Mark McLaughlin of the Calgary Stampeders will kick off to start this game. Both of these teams very dangerous on kickoff returns. Here's one reason for BC. Darrell Wallace almost to the 40-yard line to give good field position to Matt Dunnigan and the Lions offense. He's been going to David Williams primarily all season long, but last week Eric Streeter had the game of his life, and so the Stampeders have at least 2 BC receivers to worry about tonight.
Well, Streeter's game certainly will lift his confidence, but on the second hand, it's also going to make defenses look at them as a little bit more balanced. The BC Lions now can't have one man double covered, and that threat will be tough to cover on both sides of the field.
14 catches for Streeter last week, and Williams had his usually consistent game. He had 5. And, of course, the Lions can run the ball, too. The 2 Tonys, Terry and Parker, in the backfield, and Anthony Parker carries for about 4 yards on first down. Well, it is cool, or should we say cold, just above 0. A slight wind at the back of the Lions in the first quarter, but unless the wind picks up, it should not be a factor, and we haven't had the rumored precipitation today.
Well, they're expecting snow last night. It's a good thing it didn't come. It was a beautiful day and sunny, and the players don't mind a little bit of cool, especially the big guys.
Play fake by Dunnigan all sorts of time. The pass is incomplete as he intended it for Mike Belfontaine. McCrary on the coverage.
Larry Kuharich said to us earlier on today that Terrence Jones will start the game at quarterback and he'll leave him in as long as he keeps doing well. But the one thing he doesn't want to do is put the young quarterback in a situation where he feels all the pressures on his shoulders, where he thinks he has to win the game, because that could really be detrimental to his development.
Louis Pasaglia will punt. At the other end could be Kennard Martin, the rookie running back, of whom a lot has been heard, and we're going to see a lot of him tonight. Darcy Kopp backs up, though. He's going to field this punt. And go nowhere with it, reaching for the 19-yard line. First down, Stampeders there as Kopp leaves the field and Terrence Jones brings on the offense.
A quarterback who has the ability to keep the play alive. Sometimes when you see him sprint and the play does break down, you get the feeling he's not sure whether he wants to run or throw the football. But that's all part of the maturing process. And I think, as Coach Gerhard says, he's getting better at the whole program, the whole offense, every game.
Power to the left of the Stampeders. 3 receivers are out there. And they reverse it to Andre Alexander. He needs 1 block. But a terrific job on defense. The Lions don't allow that 1 block.
It's Andre Alexander.
Wanting to open up with a little bit of excitement. 3 receivers to one side. It's like the option. Only Alexander comes between Martin. Well played by the BC Lions. Beasley's out in front. Doesn't get himself blocked, but keeps on his feet so he can push Alexander back inside. And there's the pursuit, as you can see.
Jerry Beasley credited with a fine play as Andre Alexander appeared to have room and wound up with no gain. Jones overthrew Kennard Martin from the University of North Carolina, where he led the Atlantic Coast Conference in rushing as a freshman. This is his first start, but he'll have to come off now as the Lions are going to get the ball back.
Joe Galat has had a problem as the season has gone on with injuries. The one thing he said today was it's tough running a training camp while the season's on, bringing people in and out.
The leading punter in the CFL now. They still list Hank Alisic at the top, but he's no longer in this league. Among the active punters, Brent Maddich is #1 with that 42.3-yard average. Best news for Maddich is that one won't be returned. It is not a long kick. There is a flag.
Maddich's punt goes out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
Straight ahead, Dunnigan trying to pull some of the Stampeders with him, but he didn't have the ball. He had handed it to Parker. Parker and Cherry behind Dunnigan. That's a formidable rushing duo, and Darrell Wallace can come in too. Streeter and Williams on the outside. That's the strength of the pass attack. Up front, Coughlin starts at right guard. Leo Groenwegen from Ottawa in the Gerald Roper trade is the left guard. Gain of 4 by Parker, a carbon copy of the first play of the game by the Lions. And so is this, an incompletion compared to the second play. So BC must kick it away.
I think it's important early in a football game, and we see Matt Dunnigan and the Lions do it almost every game, is go deep early. Try to keep that defense stretched out. If you run the ball too much early without throwing the ball deeper, defense will have a tendency to tighten in. Keep them spread. Makes it easier to run the inside patterns.
Down street. Louis Pasaglia 5 yards on his side of midfield. A 1 bouncer, and Pasaglia is going to run. And has all sorts of room, needed 6 yards for the first down, is out at the 31. And whether he was going to do that with a good snap, we won't know until afterwards, but good job, Louis Pasaglia saw the bad snap and immediately took off.
Well, watch him look up. He makes sure he has the ball. Now he sees a bunch of red shirts turning and running away from him. I'm sure it's not designed. Parker understands and feels what he's doing. He goes down to try to block, and Pasaglia just heads down past the first down marker. Just very calm and relaxed. No one's going to come get me. Sees where the side is open and takes it there. And he's done that all his career and done it well.
14 yards for a first down. Dunnigan for the first time will throw on first down. He's getting lots of time. Williams can't get there. Flag though against McCrary.
Dunnigan intended for David Williams in the end zone of the
Hank Landry is arguing, and I think is trying to say the pass was uncatchable. The officials did throw the flag and will now huddle to decide whether Landry has an argument or not.
Forward pass interference. Number 3, Calgary. First down, BC.
There's the answer. And let's look at it, Neil.
McCrary's got a good position to the inside. Now Williams is going to start coming in. A little bit of a push off there, but they're both pushing for position. I don't know. I don't think he could have caught the football.
It probably means a touchdown. Parker's in, flag down.
Offside. Calgary declined.
So the penalty leads to a score, a touchdown for BC, and Louis Pasaglia will come on to try the convert. David Williams is a threat. Just throwing the ball to him, whether he catches it or not, he's tough to guard.
Well, the Lions have this opportunity of taking advantage of both the interference, but it was all started with Pasaglia's fake, getting him that first down, and that opportunity to throw the ball and get the interference call, or at least get some first downs together.
So the Lions score first. They lead 7-0. Louis Pasaglia, who helped the BC Lions touchdown march, will kick it off to the Stampeders now. Louis not noted for distance on kickoffs. The Lions then have to cover well, as here is Kennard Martin on the return. There's a flag down. Penalties hurting the Stampeders very early in this first quarter. Martin's return all the way to the 41 of the Lions, but when that flag comes down, you know it's coming back 90% of the time.
We got a chance to see that quick acceleration that a lot of people have been talking about.
Blocking from the rear. Calgary from the 79. First down.
Another look at the penalty call that produced a touchdown or led to it. Is it interference? Could he have caught it?
I don't think so. I think the coverage is pretty good. But they did finish it off, and Parker just gets nice and low, gets that shoulder pads down. And even if he does take a hit, as he did near the goal line, he's going to be able to bounce off.
Martin had it almost to the BC 40. Now the Stampeders are back at their own 20, and Kennard Martin will start there for a couple of hard yards. Martin from the North Carolina ACC rushing champion as a freshman. Left school to join the Stampeders. Tim Petros also in the backfield behind Terrence Jones, Mark Zeno, and Larry Willis, the wide receivers. Alexander and Smith inside, 4 import receivers for the Stampeders, and there are the blockers. Gain of 2 by Martin, 2nd and 8. Jones under a rush. He has no blocking help. He has to throw it, and Alexander with a catch. 50-yard line. Andre Alexander trying to get to open field. He's there now. Down at the 37-yard line. He's an exciting little player. They tried to get him the ball in the very first play for a big run. Waited until now.
Great communication between Alexander and Jones. Jones is going to get 4. Straight drop back. He's looking to one side. Feels the linebacker, Alondra Johnson, come up. Now he takes that step, but instead of running, Alexander finds a spot near the sidelines. Now watch the people come downfield to try to help him out. Hustle to the football and make a big play.
First down from the 37. Jones throws an interception, and there's a rookie mistake. Underline that one. You could see him pump fake, and a late hit out of bounds. Doesn't produce a flag, but probably should have. So everything going for BC as Art Malone picked off Terrence Jones, an ill-advised pass, and you could see him second-guess himself on the pass.
Almost like the pump fade make Willis turn. Malone stayed just to the inside of Willis.
38 yards on the run back.
Art Malone, and a lot of teams like to work against him, but Malone bites back that time. First down, Lions, Stampeders 39-yard line. And this is a favorite first down play for the Lions. Anthony Parker, no real success yet, but BC does like to establish that ground game.
They also feel they're going to have success running right at the Calgary defense because they pursue so well, and as early as it is, Danny Barrett is keeping that right arm warm.
He brought Calgary back not all the way, but certainly made it a game last week after replacing Jones. He might be in even earlier this time. There's interference against McCrary. Doesn't matter. The pass was caught anyway. Mike Bellefontaine. And the Calgary defense is all upset now about another flag. But there was little doubt that time that McCrary interfered.
Outstanding concentration on the football after the interference takes place, Bellefontaine just keeps his eye on the ball right here. Tips it again, comes down with it.
First down, BC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kesky Lenson Prize, our lucky program of your program.
Well, everything has gone against the Stampeders and for the Lions so far as we're midway through the first quarter. BC up by 7 and threatening to add to that lead now with a first down at the Stampeders' 25-yard line. Well, I think the Stampeders have this first down play figured out by now.
Anthony Parker right at the line of
well, it was a bit of a change there. Greg Peterson from safety moved up to the line of scrimmage to the wide side of the field. So if it was going to be a pass, they were going to try to get on Dunnigan and force him quickly. And as you said, just a straight handoff. But they are showing us what they said they wanted to do. Feeling that if you've got a quick defense, one that can pursue, like the Landrys and the Fords, you go straight at them.
And as soon as you assume that handoff is made, Dunnigan will keep the ball and see you later. Here comes the blitz. It is picked up. Dunnigan throws it over the middle. Landry had an interception in his hands and dropped it.
The blitz to the outside again. Greg Peterson from safety times it well. Hits the line of scrimmage on a dead run. But he was picked up by Cherry. Dunnigan trying to go to that spot. Middle linebacker Landry had a good deep drop and the coverage was good, so I think they could escape with maybe just one.
Louis Pasaglia right in the middle of the field for a three-point try, 32 yards out. A pass interference call led to 7. Art Malone's interception gives the Lions a chance for 3, and Pasaglia does the rest. It is 10-0 in favor of the visiting BC Lions. 10:13 remaining in the second quarter. The Calgary Stampeders have the ball at their 32-yard line. Still looking for a touchdown, which the Lions got right off the bat. Quick hitter to Kennard Martin, and he's in the open to the 40 and close to a first down.
The quick hitter is right. They pull the backside guard. They're trying to get a little bit of flow, and Martin's going to try to pick a seam and get upfield. And that's the type of play, if you can get up and into that linebacker area and then cut back, could be a big play for them. They've had success. That offensive line has done a good job blocking all year, not only for the pass but the run. And the Ferroni, Fairbanks, Palumbo, Spolatini, and Blanchard, they come off well. They sustain the blocks.
Watching Martin and knowing how well Lorenzo Graham played, you can't help but wonder whether the Stampeders would be even more dangerous with both of them in there. But the problem, or one of the problems anyway, is that Tim Petros would have to come out, and he's too good to sit on the bench.
That's right, not only as a runner, but he does a great job blocking for whoever the halfback might be.
Andy Barrett leans ahead for what little was needed for a first down.
And he has the Calgary first down at the 43-yard line.
Everyone get low. Barrett's going to pick a spot right behind Ferroni. It's almost seemed like Ferroni got too much of a clear area to go through. He popped through without hitting anybody, and the first impact was made by the tackle. It was very close, but got themselves a first down.
Held up for the moment and probably should have kept running.
Yeah, it seemed like he thought that Barrett was going to try to put it inside in front of the safety instead of up that seam. Stampeders have had an awful lot of success throwing to the back or short side of the field up the seam between the halfback and the safety. Specifically Marshall Toner this year, who unfortunately isn't in the lineup, and they miss him.
Larry Kuharich paid him quite a compliment.
Sure did.
Starting his roster from scratch. Before he gets to number 36, he's going to put number 1 down, and it'll be Marshall Toner. He thinks so much of his ability and his meaning to the team in other ways. Martin really has to fight for a first down, and he has not got enough fight against Alondra Johnson.
Martin up near the 51-yard line.
You're right, it was quite a compliment. That's a fellow that didn't play an awful lot under the same head coach last year, but evidently has been able to sway the head coach's feelings that, sure, I can get in there and I can do a good job. He's a good leader. He's the veteran type of player you want on the team to keep things calm. And that type of receiver helps young quarterbacks.
Radic's first punt went 30 yards straight out of bounds. This gets there a little faster than he'd like. He is helped by a bit of a bounce. Ball goes loose. Stampeders are on it. A big turnover inside the BC 20-yard line, and the Calgary fans see this as a chance for the Stampeders to take the lead. Jay Christensen, one of those good hands players, has the ball in those hands.
The ball punted to the right side of the screen, plus a good bounce forces the returner to go to that side. Now the Stampeders try to corral Wallace. He tries to get up and find that one seam he sees there, but the cutback, Finley gets his left hand in, strips the ball, and Christensen has been very prominent in special teams all year, comes up with it.
Hard to know what happened to Wallace in terms of taking the punt in the air. Forget when he dropped it on the ground. Martin will try to get outside and show us his speed. Now cuts back. Nice move by Martin. Did most of that on his own to get it inside the 10.
Well, he makes a decision very quickly after he gets the ball that there is nothing to go to. So he will come back right at you. Belly handoff, comes back inside. Parker, now he's going to stretch it. Puts a nice move on the outside pressure right here by Watson, and then gets upfield.
Making the most of his first professional start. He's got it again for a first down near the 5.
What I like about what I've seen is he knows when to take it wide and to keep going, but in a situation like this, he knows it's second down, they need the yards, and he's probably more likely going to get them quickly straight upfield. So he makes that quick move and then gets up, takes a couple of hits.
First and goal, Stampeders trying to get to the end zone for the first time. Petros and Martin in the backfield behind Barrett, who of course is a running threat himself. Now they're going to stay with Kennard Martin. He gets a couple, maybe 3.
On first and goal from the 5-yard line.
Just a straight power play, sending Petros in there to pick the first line off. He can see behind Ferroni and Fairbanks. Absolutely nothing fancy about this. Petros is going to come right at you, try to kick out. Ferroni pulls. He kicks out Beasley. But the yards get an awful lot tougher when you get inside the 5-yard line.
They need 2 more of them for a first down. They have 2 plays if they need them. Petros. No signal. Stampeders is signaling, but the officials aren't. And at first glance, I thought he was over.
Awfully close. You'll see where the contact is, but Petros is able to slide off that first hit, which is right there. Now watch him push.
He's over, Neil.
Touchdown. You can see the ball right there. Break the plane. Come back and give it to him again. He'll get it in.
Well, he's got to do it from a yard out after having done it already. They do. Flag down. No signal. He's not in. If this penalty, yeah, now they say he is in. The signal came late. The penalty is against
Offside.
BC. So it was harder than it might have been, but the Stampeders are in the lead.
Well, the fumble recovery by Jay Christensen on the punt return by the Lions set things up, and it was tough going right down to the very end. BC Lions putting up a pretty good stand. Again, big contact. Konar meets him right in the hole, but Petros is able to just let his body slide and keep that momentum going ahead.
Stampeders have missed 3 converts this season, so this is not an automatic point, but McLaughlin makes it look as easy as it should be, and it's a 2-point Calgary lead.
Available for booking now.
Stamp lead for the first time in the running game had a lot to do with it also. A Darrell Wallace fumble and a BC punt return.
Cash Tours, the Stampeders official, break up to
on the ground comes this kickoff from McLaughlin. What happens to Wallace this time? He's going to make sure he holds the ball, and that's about all.
Second effort is what gets this touchdown, and you'll see after the first impact of Petros going into the line, Right there, he's not over. Konar meets him, but right there he stretches out, gets his shoulders over the goal line and the ball.
There's a flag well away from the play that Larry Kuharich would like to know about. Stampeders not very happy with the officials in this game.
Hi, everybody. We're going to do it.
Face mask, Calgary, number 97. First down, go safe.
Calgary's being called again.
That took place back upfield when Ford was jostling with someone and they were throwing each other around. And Ford was throwing the guy around by his face mask.
Lions benefit with a first down at their 43. Dunnigan, as a flag comes down, and is it an incomplete pass or a fumble? They say it's a fumble and a Calgary recovery. The penalty is going to be holding, and the Stampeders have another turnover.
Will Johnson comes up with the ball. Straight drop back protection. The pressure was Mitchell Price, and they're able to collapse around Matt Dunnigan. Not only collapse around him, but get a hand on the ball. Perfectly set up right there. Price knocks it out. Johnson comes in and jumps on it. And since Matt Dunnigan's had that problem with his right thumb, that's where the ball and how he holds the ball to throw it now. Normally, the right part of his hand, the fingers would be in the same spot, but that's where the thumb he used to be able to put it. He doesn't have the same flexibility anymore.
Barrett still got the ball in his hand. Danny Barrett takes a tackler on straight up. Alondra Johnson pushing him back. Another look at the fumble revealed that it was indeed that. Dunnigan had his arm cocked to throw, but clearly brought it down, and that's when the ball came loose.
Well, that's the type of thing I think a quarterback stands in there and believes he can release the ball more quickly or quicker than the guy coming in. It's heads-up play when defensive players go after the ball, be it a quarterback or a running back, and intentionally try to tackle and strip at the same time.
Barrett improvised for 3. This is 2nd and 7. Way up there. Martin trying to get to it. And that is incomplete. Kennard Martin had to scramble around the defender, but he didn't have any field to work with. And that's really the reason that fans are wondering about what happened.
Well, that's one of the plays that Larry Kuharich said they were going to try to get. Martin on a linebacker in a wheel pattern where he runs a flat. When he gets the sideline, he turns it up, trying to get the linebacker to trail him, and hopefully there's a mismatch in speed.
McLaughlin will try to have the club record all his own now. 44-yard attempt, his 41st of the season it would be if he makes it. Right through there, Mark McLaughlin sets a Calgary club record with his 41st field goal.
McLaughlin just seems to hammer the ball. He doesn't get a lot of height. This one he drives. Mechanically the same move all the time. Seemed like he almost short-legged it a bit. As soon as he hit it, he knew. He congratulated Keith Gooch by saying, "Thank you, I knew I'd make it," and now has himself a record. McLaughlin, who grew up in Liverpool, England, played an awful lot of soccer, and he might be able to attribute a lot of that kicking power to having played soccer. When he was 17, he moved to Winnipeg. The man who sets it all up and puts the ball down is Matic, is Holden. Though his name won't go on the record book.
McLaughlin's last kickoff was along the ground. This time he puts it in the air, and you could see that the Lions were caught coming up looking for a shorter one. Wallace with the ball. They take him down at the 25-yard line. I think it helps to vary those kickoffs. Although a lot of teams will tell you that if they keep doing the same thing, it's much easier to cover.
The same thing being maybe in the same area, but if it's on the ground and in the air, I think you're right. It can bother returners.
Tomorrow, Winnipeg is at Hamilton. It's part of the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Tiger Town, and both of those teams are in need of the win that will be available tomorrow. catch and a grab by Mike Bellefontaine. Mike Bellefontaine, the only receiver to receive a pass from Matt Dunnigan. Tony Cherry has a couple as well, but Williams and Streeter, nothing yet. Cherry, he's taken down as a flag comes down simultaneously.
Tony Cherry wrapped up in the backfield by Matt Finley. There is a flag down on the play, though.
Well, your defense is playing fairly tough if you're keeping Streeter and Williams off, as Kent Warnock comes out of a pack of people. Calgary again bringing some heat, and Warnock continues to discuss some situation with the Lions center Ian Sinclair.
A lot of talking going on all night long between players and officials. The penalty, the initial one anyway, was against BC for holding. I'm not sure whether the extracurricular activities brought another one.
Holding, BC 66, declined. Second down.
Interesting decision to decline a holding penalty.
Loss of a couple of yards on that play.
Stampeders did, of course, spill Cherry for a loss, so 2nd and 12 is preferable to 1st and 20 in Calgary's mind. And here is that 2nd and 12 play. Dunnigan over the middle. It is dropped by Cherry.
Well, the talking continues, and Tank Landry is at his best, I'm sure, when he can be that much more vocal. And again, the Stampeders defense switching up some coverages. This time Peterson came up where he has blitzed from twice so far this evening, then backed off.
Nice high punt by Pasaglia. Alexander will have to wait for it at his 35. He's running the wrong way.
Yeah, you want to get that upfield. If you don't see anything, put your head down and expect to get hit, but at least you won't lose anything. Last Sunday was
it doesn't lose as many yards as we might have thought, but Alexander, the ball will be about the 29-yard line.
Well, last Sunday was going to be a big day for Tank Landry. His son Ashton was born, but he was born with a problem. He suffered from a life-threatening hernia, and they had to operate on it. At this point now, Ashton is in Edmonton, where they are treating it, and things look very good, though Landry has been back and forth all week, practicing, then going to Edmonton to see his son. So we wish him all the best.
Barrett looked to be trying to set up a screen that didn't develop. He throws the pass, and Alexander
get the...
does not catch it.
Pass intended for Andre Alexander.
Hey, love you. What y'all doing out there?
You know where his focus was this week?
Just gonna do it.
Came up. At one point, he was complaining about a sore hand. Of course, they played last week, and this Thursday, he said, my hand's still bothering me. Well, it was broken, so they put a cast on it just after practice on Thursday.
Barrett to Willis for the first down. Danny Barrett's on his back with a lion on top. That's Quick Parker, but Barrett will get up and run forward for the next huddle after that good completion.
Well, Barrett needs some extra time. This is a sprint. Petros is just out in front of him. Willis is running a comeback, but he needs that little bit extra time to get that pattern and bring it back. Barrett pays the price by Quick Parker.
Under 2 minutes to go. The Stampeders thinking about adding to a 5-point lead. They're at their 47 with a first down.
Get up for that, baby. Get up for that, baby.
Barrett jostled just as he threw the ball. It fell incomplete.
Mark Zeno, the intended receiver, will be 2nd and 10.
From the backside, Barrett. Petros is flaring to the right. They've got that covered. And right there, just as he was getting ready to release the ball, he was hit by Cooks, just enough to force him to throw the ball into the turf.
2nd and 10. Willis wide to the right, and Mark Zeno flips to the short side. They're the wide receivers.
Get it, baby.
Barrett throws it deep. Willis is out there. He's got it. And it's a foot race now. Down the stretch they come, and it's a touchdown for Larry Willis.
Well, he spoke of time needing to throw the ball when he's running a sprint out. Barrett needs that same kind of time here, and that offensive line gives it to him. Straight formation, back set and then release, no linebacker pressure. Willis forces the coverage in, then takes Malone back outside, and you said a foot race. That foot race is over right about now.
Well, he's going to go through the end zone and up the hill.
With a bit of help here.
Willis, a touchdown catch, and in terms of pass receiving yardage, he's over 1,000 for the third straight year. Stampeders had the convert, and you like touchdowns anytime, but late in the first half, they seem to help a little more.
Well, you can watch the work here. He's going to go down, push him in, quick look inside to make Malone bite. Just that one step. Willis has to wait for the ball and turns that waiting into a 63-yard touchdown, pass and run. Barrett shows his value to this Stampeder football team. He showed it day one when he came in a very tough situation where quarterbacks were down and hurt. And the Stampeders didn't have a quarterback. And from going from third string in Toronto to, hey, it's that simple, huh?
Yeah, he ran upfield, then the guy kind of locked on.
Well, he'd be a middle reliever in baseball, but he's a middle reliever who stays around at the end and seems to do better than the starter these days in Calgary, but the Stampeders don't mind as long as they win the game. But where would they be without him, I guess, is
in big trouble.
Speaking of changing things on kickoffs, here's another bouncer giving the Lions some problems. Cherry. This is the problem for Calgary, though. If you don't get them quickly on one of those, suddenly your coverage is all over the place. 3 for 103, and most importantly, the touchdown. 1,042 for Larry Willis in 1989. Bear in mind, they had a 10-0 lead and have scored only 1 point since while watching 23 Calgary points. Eric Streeter's first chance is dropped.
Well, those are the balls that have to be caught. Dunnigan throws it, running upfield in between the block by the tackle and the running back, and that's very catchable. Those are the plays that stall drives, and those are the plays you just have to execute.
The way things are going, this is a big play for the Lions. They don't want to have to punt the ball back to Calgary with all the momentum the Stampeders have built up. Calgary would still have some time left. 1:19 now, and the clock won't start until the ball is snapped. Dunnigan, knowing a first down is important, tries for it and is short.
Matt Dunnigan runs up on Matt Finley. The 36-yard line, a gain of 8.
Joe Galat wanting to know how much. I think any sort of gamble except 3rd and an inch would be foolish now, and he thinks the same way. But he doesn't like this either. He doesn't want to punt the ball away to Calgary. He'll have to, though.
Do you think it had been any shorter, about a yard or less than a yard, he would have gone for it?
Much less than a yard, maybe, but a good punt by Pasaglia here will make Calgary work for any more points, and a failed 3rd down gamble might have given it to them.
Calgary now calling a timeout.
I don't know why now. They already let, what, 10 or 12 seconds run off that clock. If they wanted to call it, should have been done right away.
Oh, you want him on the pole?
Gentleman just to the right there in the sweater is Tom Porras.
Well, you know they're going to try for points when they get the ball. They'd like to strike for another quick 6, I think. Another high snap to Pasaglia. Short punt on the run, McCrary. He's taken down right away near his 45 with 52 seconds left.
Heads up by McCrary, not even giving the ball a chance to bounce. He set himself far enough back that he could make the adjustment. It's a lot easier to come up to catch a football than it is to back up. We saw the discussion taking place just before the punt on the sidelines of what they're going to do. And somehow you have to think it's going to involve Larry Willis.
Well, they have to go more than a yard a second. They're 66 yards away and 52 seconds left. That's for a touchdown, of course. And Barrett's going to look deep. Now he'll run. Or not much.
Barrett brought down.
Well, they lined Willis up as a slot back that time and then popped Brock Smith, who normally plays that slot, to the outside. They tried to get Willis up that seam, and that's where Barrett was looking.
2nd and 10.
They have to hurry with this play as the clock continues to move. Zeno has it. Big catch by Mark Zeno from Tulane University at the 46-yard line. 37 seconds left. Stampeders hustle to the ball again.
Well, you can see the talk continuing. Rick Ryan, the man making the tackle on Zeno, had something to say. Cornerback Mark Malone. Art Malone, slow getting up.
And maybe the Stampeders took note of that. Yes, they did. Threw right at him, but it was over Zeno's head.
Pass over Zeno's head. 2nd and 10.
Well, it's the time for them to calm down. They've got some time here. They don't have to rush to get up to the line of scrimmage. He just looks like received. When he nodded the play from the sideline sent in by Tom Porras. Now, even the quarterback on the sidelines is wearing one of those armbands.
It'll be a long field goal from here, although McLaughlin has had plenty of distance. Barrett will get a couple of yards closer to a McLaughlin field goal. He's down at the 44. With 21 seconds left, it would be about a 51-yard attempt. And that's what Larry Kuharich wants.
Heads up by Barrett. When he was going to run, I was thinking, well, why doesn't he run to the outside? There's more room. But he cuts it back inside for one reason. So McLaughlin has a better shot, or a straight-on lineup for the field goal.
It's going to be, well, halfway between 51 and 52 yards. To distance, good. What a big night for Mark McLaughlin, adding to a record that he has broken earlier in this game. And as they go to the dressing room, the Calgary lead is 15 points. Mark McLaughlin with 4 field goals. The Calgary Stampeders take a 15-point lead to the 3rd quarter. Larry Willis, a big touchdown for the Stampeders. Neil, last week, Streeter and Williams combined for 19 catches for the Lions. In the first half tonight, none.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, 2 receivers of that caliber with Matt Dunnigan at quarterback, that they can't get the ball to them. And I think it shows you what Calgary's been able to do on defense. Changing some things up. They've got to be able to crack that safe, get the ball to those guys, because those are the big play people.
Darrell Wallace, who didn't have a strong half, a big fumble set up the Calgary comeback, returns the second half kickoff. Dunnigan has a pass dropped, and that hasn't helped him. Jamie Terrace this time. Streeter dropped one earlier. So did Tony Cherry.
It'd be very frustrating for a quarterback, and I think we're seeing a little bit of it on Dunnigan's face. You know, you get the ball there, everything's executed to the point, but the ball's not being caught. And Matt Dunnigan has done a good job all season using all his receivers. Not only Williams and Streeter, but the backs and inside people.
Over the middle, and Cherry got one hand on it, but had no chance to catch it with 2. So 1-2 and punt for the Lions. It was like that a lot in the first half.
Well, you want your defense to be 1, 2, and out, not your offense.
You can increase your collection of CFL player cards with a purchase of Vashon Family Pack cakes and play equipment $80.
That fumble really stands out in the BC possessions, and a whole lot of punts by this man, Louis Pasaglia. Peters came for that one and came close. Alexander at the other end of it. He'll be down about the 32, 33-yard line. Here's what the Stampeders have done. Not much success initially, but then the field goals started to come and touchdowns as well. And the Calgary Stampeders just appear to be getting stronger while the BC Lions go in the other direction.
Yeah, I think they did a good job as a team and a coaching staff is just keeping their cool when things started to go against them very early in the football game and didn't deviate too much maybe from what they had planned to try to execute. And I think it's worked out for them.
See if the Stamps can keep it going on offense. You got a 15-point lead, and that might dictate as much of this as possible. Running, Tim Petros, first down at the 40.
Well, if they can keep pounding that inside of the line between the tackles and with some success, 6-7 yards a pop, regardless of whether it's Petros or Martin, that could be the key because they'll wear down that BC Lion defense.
Brock Smith, you see there when talking about BC receivers that haven't caught a pass. Smith hasn't for Calgary. Second down and 3. And the 3 yards made by Petros again as the Stampeders move the sticks and the clock. A little early to be talking about the clock, I know, but if Calgary can run the ball in this second half, that's exactly what Calgary wants to do.
Well, sure, and even right now, it'll help later in the game because, as you said, as it works down, and I think a lot of the offensive success we've talked about, the running game, has to go to that offensive line who have improved greatly. Fairbanks, in addition, at that left tackle, and they've become more of a unit.
Barrett still got it. Ball is up in the air and incomplete on the ground now as Willis was the intended receiver. Nice faking by Danny Barrett.
Well, that's what that running game can do. It allows you to set up the play action, and when you can do that, you can get that defense, the linebackers in the secondary, just to freeze for a second, and it slows down the pass rush considerably.
Second and 10 Calgary, ball at their 44-yard line. Just nicely into the third quarter as the Stampeders have a 15-point lead after trailing early in the game by 10. Barrett, no hurry at all, and he nicely spots Smith. And talking about the shutout that he had going, Brock Smith gets his first catch.
Well, I'm going to go back to that offensive line and the way that they're performing. They create a perfect pocket for Barrett to throw from. And when you can do that, you've got receivers who have got a little bit more time to run and force the defensive secondary out of what they're doing and then break into your open area. That was a zone. Smith was allowed to go downfield, past the corner who has rolled up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage and find that gap.
28 yards, Barrett to Smith. Look at the time Barrett has to throw. Willis sliding incomplete. He trapped the pass. The Lions have to do something about a pass rush, or Barrett is going to pick him apart as he has been doing.
Well, the Stampeders aren't even keeping their backs in, and here's some good protection up front. Mike Palumbo on Klassen. Hands out on in front of him. Keep him in front of you. Don't let him get his shoulder and go by and get upfield, because that's when the pressure comes on the quarterback. And they're doing that as a group, all 5 of them.
Second and 10 Calgary from the Lions, 38. BC sending more people this time. Alexander makes the catch, steps out of bounds near the yardstick. Nice concentration by little Andre Alexander to make sure he was inbounds.
Some extra pressure. Instead of 6 are coming. Beasley and Alondra Johnson in the middle. They're trying to get to Barrett, obviously, to force him to throw the ball a little bit earlier before the receivers get open.
He got that first down to the 27-yard line. And the first half moves to the second half, and nothing much changes. Lions couldn't move the ball. The Stampeders can. Barrett almost almost had too much time. Flag comes down.
But when you've got time like that, your secondary's got to be on their toes and stay in good tight coverage. And they were in man coverage, and they did a good job of taking the Calgary receivers out of that particular play.
Face mask, 76 PC. First down, Calgary.
Well, it shouldn't have taken that to bring down Danny Barrett, but Rayford Cooks commits the penalty, and it's a first down, Calgary.
In the first part of the season, the Calgary offensive line, specifically in the first 4 games, gave up 17 sacks. In the last 9 games, they've only given up 21.
No room for Tim Petras.
James Parker, known for his speed and quickness to get upfield and put pressure on the quarterback. Came off a knee injury last year, maybe came off a bit too soon, rushed it back. It's not hard to understand why when you've got a player of that caliber, want him back in the lineup.
Jake Christensen checked in with the play, replacing Andre Alexander. Barrett wide open is Martin. The ball is loose. It is picked up for a touchdown by Larry Willis. He fell on Kennard Martin's fumble and took it into the end zone. And what were the Lions doing?
Well, there was pretty good contact on Martin when he caught the ball.
But no coverage on him. He just sort of waited for this pass.
Well, here again, look at the pocket that's formed by the offensive line. He turns back inside. Big hit by Gooch. Everyone's focused on where the ball was. Everyone figured the ball was down in the hands of Martin, except Larry Willis.
Martin was open for a long time. 3 Lions were there, but didn't go to him until it was too late. And then when the ball popped loose, they couldn't get there in time. So it's hard to see the Lions coming back in this one. They have been soundly outplayed except for the very beginning. So the Stampeders have it after the 3rd BC turnover. And after this play, we're going to talk to an interested observer via telephone, John Gregory, the coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who have a vested interest in the outcome of any game played between these teams. We'll be talking to him momentarily. John doesn't know the score, and I'm going to tell him right now. We'll find out if he's surprised. It is BC 11 and Calgary 33, John.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I wouldn't.
He's surprised.
I am surprised.
And the Lions led 10-0 early in the game, so it's been all Calgary since then. I suppose it doesn't really matter to you. You want one of these teams to lose, and you don't want one of these teams to win, but you know that that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, it's, you know, I've at the Miss Saskatchewan Rough Rider selection contest tonight, and my wife and I are at the banquet right now, so I'm calling from payphone here, but and we haven't seen any of the game. We are taping the game, so don't tell me everything. But, I'm not sure who we want to win. You know, both teams, I think, have really. I've been impressed with the job that both coaches have done in resurging teams who, at one point in time, were both in trouble, and they've really done a good job. Both teams, I think, are playing very well, and I think that the 3 of us are very comparable.
John, back in your home base, is it a little bit baffling to you, the lack of consistency this year with the talent that you have?
Well, you know, I think our talent, you know, in the early part of the year was really good, but we have been devastated through injuries, especially in our defensive core. And we've just struggled all year with that, and I think that that's part of our inconsistency.
And what is the story on Curry? He was had arthroscopic surgery just the other day on that knee again?
Right. He had arthroscopic surgery for the 2nd time this year, and certainly will miss the game tomorrow, but hopefully he'll be back next week. And I had a good conversation with him today, and he really wants to, you know, to play and to finish out the season very strong.
Well, you got a big game tomorrow against the Toronto Argos, and if this one holds up and Calgary wins it, you can go 4 points ahead of BC, and I'm sure that's exactly what you'd like as another turnover takes place, John. David McCrary intercepts Matt Dunnigan, the 4th Lions turnover. Good luck tomorrow, and we're going to see an interesting finish in the West, aren't we?
Oh, hey, it's going to be a heck of a contest. Who knows who's going to get in the playoffs right now? I think that, as I said, I think talent-wise that all of us are quite even. And it's going to be an exciting thing for the fans. And I think all the teams will play very hard and very well.
Thanks for taking time out to talk to us.
Okay, thanks, guys.
John Gregory, the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who really showed what they were made of last week in beating Calgary. After the way they lost to BC, you wondered what Saskatchewan could do, and especially with those injuries. But they had a great game, and the Stampeders have done the same thing. They've recovered from a tough loss to play a great game here tonight. Barrett faking, throwing deep, and this is a touchdown. Just easy to Larry Willis. It's his third of the game, and Danny Barrett's going to rack up numbers like Ken Austin had last week.
Again, a situation where they're getting Larry Willis. A one-on-one situation with Keith Gooch. Again, let's go back. We've talked about it 5 or 6 times in the second half alone, but it's protection. Watch the pocket form, play action right here. Linebackers step up first to read that run and then back off, but it doesn't matter because there's one-on-one downfield, and Larry Willis has a good step and a half and has inside position, and there's no safety there to help out Gooch. They're behind him.
Boy, you always know when Danny Barrett is happy. He's got that smile that makes you feel better looking at it. Lions have given up 40 points, and there's still more than 20 minutes of football to go. Swing pass. Stampeders will watch all of those the Lions want to run to Tony Cherry.
Throwing that swing pass or flat pass to Cherry and shows you how wide open he is. Also tells you how quickly the Stampeder linebackers are dropping back. Finley and before Ford on the outside, they're getting drops very deep, but they're able to move up quickly. They know they're not going to be beaten by throwing a swing pass to Cherry.
Penalty in the play against the Stampeders. The Lions will take it and go second down again from their 42-yard line. Call it the 43. Cherry swings out of the backfield, takes the pass, and a first down to the 45 of the Stampeders.
Dunnigan quite comfortable to get the ball out to the flat. Same play twice in a row here. Little pump fake. David Williams is going to help him upfield, getting a block on Hopkins.
If you think that's the best the Lions have looked on offense, it is. Their longest play from scrimmage, 21 yards. Here's Anthony Parker. Inside the 40-yard line. He has to go close to the 35 for a first down, so it's second down. He got about 6.
Now back into that hurry-up offense.
Second and 4.
Dunnigan feels the heat, runs away from it, and now buys lots of time. Throws incomplete. Tony Cherry said he had it in his hands, but his feet were the problem. And they're going to gamble. Down 40-11, 4.5 minutes left, third quarter. Dunnigan stays on the field.
The sponsor of the Calgary Stampeders, Diet Coke and Coke Classic, the official soft drink for summer.
Third down and 4. Dunnigan throws it just in time and throws it incomplete. Another turnover, this one on downs. Stampeder offense returns, and Joe Galat watches his offense come off after they get them all on file.
Well, as you saw Dunnigan throw the ball up and over, and David Williams breaks inside. Dunnigan had to throw the ball when he did, because Peterson, for I believe the 4th time this evening, came up and hit it right on a dead flat run. Perfect timing. And he made the hit.
Calgary ball, 39-yard line. The Stampeders totally in control late in the third quarter. Petros is taken down behind the line of scrimmage. As Quick Parker is there.
Brought down in the backfield.
The Lions have made a change in their secondary. Art Malone is out. They've moved number 10, Ron Howard, to his corner. And Robin Belanger is playing the halfback spot. He's number 9.
Malone injured and out for the game.
at the 37-yard line.
Oh, we're getting ready for Halloween, aren't we? Barrett to Alexander. He's got it. Danny Barrett with all the time a quarterback would ever want, and then some.
Well, even the then some came late. Parker's the only one even close. Nice, just nice and easy. Putting the ball in that seam to the outside. He's thrown the ball with great accuracy.
22 yards.
And he still has that smile on his face.
11 completions for 252 yards. Larry Willis on the receiving end of touchdown passes from Danny Barrett. Kennard Martin taken down inside the BC 50.
Martin picks up 3 yards down to the BC 48. Johnson on the
Petros, early motion to the outside, tries to cut down quick Parker, gets him to release to the inside, so he's done a good job, and now puts his head down, Martin does, and gets upfield, and he's bulldogged to the ground by Johnson, who leads that BC line defense with 83 tackles this year.
Second down for the Lions' 48-yard line. Barrett to Brock Smith at the 40-yard line. 36 and a first down.
Barrett complete to Brock Smith.
Well, in the first quarter, I had mentioned that I thought we might see Terrence Jones later in the game, and I think this might be the ideal situation after this drive to get him back in and expose him to some more playing time.
We might see Tom Forrest, except he hasn't got any equipment on. Come the fourth quarter, yeah, the Stampeders ought to give Danny Barrett a rest, I would think. Your line is Forrest doesn't need any equipment with the protection the Calgary quarterbacks are getting.
Well, that defense has been beaten up tonight. They've been on the field an awful lot. Young guys like Beasley and Johnson, who have played very well this year for first-timers, the BC Lions can't carry the load.
Stars of every game this season.
Barrett looking for more passing numbers. Another catch to Smith, another first down Stampeders. We're still in the third quarter, mind you. Calgary 40 and BC 11.
Possession football. Straight drop back. Backs again are going to release because the linebackers don't come.
Another Calgary first down.
Brock Smith settles into that area just to the outside of Ron Howard, or to the inside of Howard and the outside of Belanger.
John Gregory was genuinely surprised when we told him to score, and why not? His quarterback passed for almost 500 yards against Calgary a week ago, and the Stampeders were facing Matt Dunnigan tonight. Dunnigan doesn't have a touchdown pass. Here's one to Martin, and that's a touchdown for Barrett. He just keeps rolling them up. Lions haven't scored, and the Stampeders haven't stopped scoring. And if this is hard to understand in Regina, imagine in Vancouver how they're going to try to dissect it.
Well, even when the ball was thrown behind, it's going to come right at you. Kennard Martin is going to have to make an adjustment. He's on Kevin Konar. A little bit of a jostle there, and it's tripped up. Konar gets tripped but goes down. Martin has to make the adjustment, spin the body around. Nice soft hands, and gets himself a touchdown.
With that convert, the score is Calgary 47, BC 11. Everybody has a job to do, including us. First down, Lions. Incomplete. Dunnigan attending for Tony Cherry. Well, the Calgary Stampeders can virtually clinch a playoff spot, and will with this victory. They have Saskatchewan back-to-back, and then another game with the Lions. Saskatchewan plays Toronto tomorrow. Those two games against Calgary and one with Edmonton. And the Lions have a game against the Argos, and one each against those teams from Alberta. They'll be played at BC Place Stadium. The Stampeders have a playoff spot locked up tonight unless there is a three-way tie for second place. It's the only thing that could take Calgary out of the playoffs. And actually, if Saskatchewan beats the Argos tomorrow, a three-way tie would not be possible. So as early as tomorrow, Calgary could sew up a playoff berth. The Lions, well, they got to hope for the Argos and keep hoping all day tomorrow that Toronto beats Saskatchewan, or their job is real tough. It's going to be anyway.
That's unbelievable, 49 yards.
Well, this is more like the Calgary defense that we've come to know this season, though. That was very uncharacteristic of the Stampeders last week to give up all those yards through the air. Saglia from his end zone, a fine punt. Martin on the return. Kennard Martin has never been a punt returner till he got to Calgary. And they like him so much with the ball that they want to get it to him whenever possible.
But Coach Gahar said it, and it was no big deal when they asked him to go back and return punts. It just nice calmly said, sure, I can do that. I can catch the ball. I can catch it when you throw it to me. I can catch it when you punt it to me.
I think Larry Gahar, well, I know he would like Terrence Jones to have some of this success, have a part in this victory, because it's been all Danny Barrett as far as the Stampeder offense is concerned. Jones getting some work and trying to get some points.
Tony Spallettini on the
fullback
carry.
Tony Spallettini.
He's in, and Andy McVeigh too.
The BC 48. I think it's second and 8.
Spent some time in the Eskimos last year. And they have such a good stable of running backs that he was able to move on, and he's taken out Tim Petros.
Things fouled up here for the Stampeders. Jones turned and didn't see what he wanted to see.
Jones brought down back at his own 50-yard line.
Here's the guy that told us Terrence Jones will be back in the game.
Oh, that's who it was. That's right. Still standing. Things certainly have taken a dramatic swing. Just sitting down on his left there in the other booth is Eric Kramer, who's saw walking around a little bit earlier. Looks like his knees come back nicely, and
he could go into the game.
Yes, he has to get in line behind Forrest.
His line drive punt to Wallace. Room on the sidelines for Darrell Wallace. He's taken down near the 30-yard line.
Will Johnson's right knee, as you can see, is wrapped with a tensor. Underneath that tensor is a bag of ice. Looks like it's almost right on the top and to the sides of the knees.
As soon as, if we assume that they will, the Stampeders clinch a playoff berth officially, they will think about second place and hosting a playoff game, and their two remaining games with Saskatchewan are going to decide that. And Calgary's problems with Saskatchewan have really been part of bad news here in Calgary. It's been a good season when they play Eastern teams, terrific, but Lions are the only Western team they've beaten, losing 3 times to Edmonton and twice to Saskatchewan.
They mentioned about a playoff game. They haven't hosted a playoff game here since 1979. That year they went on to lose to Edmonton in the Western Final.
One win, that was by 2 points over the Lions early in the season, and 5 losses in the division. That's going to be 2 and 5 after tonight. And then the Stampeders would like to make amends for their 2 losses to Saskatchewan. Eric Streeter, 14 catches last week. Now 1 tonight.
A 13-yard gain on the play. Landry and Quinn on the tackle.
What do you think about Dunnigan still being in the game?
Oh, I think it makes sense. A lot of the situations earlier, I mean, in the second quarter, that pass probably would have been dropped, which would have foiled another opportunity. I think Dunnigan has been on the mark a number of times when he's thrown the football. It's just he's been let down. Before the game, he was telling me that Larry Donovan said to him before Donovan was let go as head coach that all the players should think of themselves as quarterbacks. then they should know what it's like. They can't make mistakes. It's crucial, as it is for a quarterback.
9:46 left in the game. Calgary way ahead. The Lions have themselves a first down at their 41-yard line. Matt Dunnigan remaining at quarterback, taking a snap from Ian Sinkler. Throwing a near interception. David McCrary went for the hit when he might well have tried to intercept the ball and run for a touchdown. That's been a play that the Lions have used all night long, and it does get predictable after a while.
Well, McCrary's just flying over there. He gets a good jump in the football and makes a read of the play. And as you said, if it almost looked like he could have had a choice, pick the ball off and go for the hit. And he chose the big hit to make sure.
There's another one very similar. McCrary twice coming close to picking passes off, and had he done so, he'd have still been running.
It's fun to watch a defensive back with good reactions. We've seen McCrary play well this year. You see, he's watching the quarterback, and when that quarterback commits himself, turning the shoulders and starting to cock to throw the football, that's when he makes that cut and breaks to the football like a receiver would break on a pattern.
Every week, be sure to collect the whole series.
Very Pisaglia very close to his season average. It's about the only thing that adds up for the Lions tonight. Flag down, that's no yards. The ball bouncing around, but if the penalty call is against the Lions, it doesn't matter who has the ball. And it is to be hoped that this sort of thing can be avoided in 9 more minutes of basically meaningless football.
There are flags down on the play.
Well, this is quite simply separated as someone saw Pisaglia coming for the football, and rather than letting the ball bounce, regardless of whether he was a receiver, back, linebacker, lineman, he jumped on the ball. Draws to no yards.
It is a horror story for BC. Larry Willis with 3 touchdown catches. Danny Barrett threw those passes and has over 300 yards. Mark McLaughlin with a new club record for field goals in a season. Perfect tonight. Lions all sorts of turnovers and no offense. Close the book.
Well, Joe Galat said to me this afternoon when I asked, do you enjoy being back behind the bench, or in front of the bench actually, and coach? And he said, yeah, it's been a real treat, but I guess tonight he'd like to trade that treat for something else.
Two more touchdowns and the Stampeders would have the most points scored by a team this season. Terrence Jones is the man trying to get it. Jones with a completion. Willis gets up slowly after taking a hit. Rests his head on the football and make it help.
Interesting combination when they line out one-on-one against each other. That's Keith Gooch and Larry Willis. And have to be reminded that during the offseason in Fresno, they work out together. It's a nice touch on the pass here. He just loops that over, starting like a punt, starts to break down, the nose comes down. He takes a heck of a shot from Gooch in the rib area, hangs on and bounces up.
Jones fires it up. Defender and receiver both sort of watch it fall. Zeno might have run harder for that if the score was different.
If you play to win, then first and goal is your game. Offering you 3 chances to run up in the score. You could win $50,000.
Well, as the game plan was explained to us, I'd say the Stampeders have done a fine job in that execution of hitting some of the seams in between the zones that the Lions defense plays.
They probably have exceeded their expectations. Jones down the middle. That one falling incomplete, intending it for Jay Christensen, who made a very important fumble recovery when this game was close. Actually, the Lions were in front then. Ricky Foggy warming up, maybe to come into the game.
Well, warming up won't be easy to do after sitting around for 3.5 quarters. It's cool down in the field. After you warm up and break a sweat in the pregame, you get bundled up because you figure he's not going to play, or he probably did.
McLaughlin, if he makes his 5th field goal, would make it an even 50 on the scoreboard. It's been a piece of cake for him, too.
Next year.
David Williams on the bench, so is Matt Dunnigan. Ricky Foggy now in the game at quarterback for the BC Lions. So substitutions are liberal on both sides now. Foggy under a rush, gets away from it, flag down. Catch is made by Mike Bellefontaine, who would be among the actual receivers for the Lions, the best they've got tonight, ahead of both Streeter and Williams.
Flag, I think, is called on holding on Mitchell Price.
Holding. BC number 76. First down repeated.
I didn't mean the penalty was going to be on Mitchell Price. I mean, the hold was on Mitchell Price.
Matt Dunnigan under 100 yards passing, and Kent Austin was almost at 500 against this same Calgary team. Well, not the same Calgary team, but against the Stampeders last week.
Well, you knew they wanted to turn it up a few notches after last week, especially pressure on the quarterback, but they've exceeded their expectations.
Foggy under a rush, and they get him this time. Eugene Beliveau.
First pressure by big Kent Warnock coming in. Makes Foggy pull it down and change his mind and direction. Belivau's there to finish it off. Reverses out, comes to the right a bit, and that good hustle by Warnock from the outside. He's being blocked. He's almost out of the play, but gets the arm in, and Beliveau, who brought 9 sacks into this game, adds another one.
Second down and 30 from the 15. Lions in a shotgun. Streeter with a nice catch and run, not for a first down though, because it was second and 30.
Yeah, in most cases that'd be a heck of a play on first down, but 30 yards is a long way to go.
24 yards. It'll be third down, 6 yards to go. Don't forget to come to the Clam Stadium on October 29th to take part in the biggest game-to-game giveaway in North America.
Sometimes you just never know. Nobody could have predicted this. 50-11 for Calgary. A Calgary win, okay, but not with those numbers. Pasaglia knew that was going to be blocked, had to throw an incomplete pass on third down. One more turnover.
So the guys that have been doing it all night on special teams have been hustling. Wicklum comes from the outside. Look at the pressure. Laird right up the middles. Regardless of where you see the pressure from, well, Pasaglia pulls it down. Now that can come from either side, and he's getting it from both sides and the middle.
And fast enough for the Lions, of course, but you get the feeling the Stampeders would like it to go on till midnight. They're really having fun out there. And there's just one more reason why the score is the way it is. Jones hands the ball to Andy McVeigh. Look at how hard he's running, and nobody in white is really going after him with that kind of intensity, so McVeigh goes all the way to the 15.
Well, it's a situation where the backs come into the huddle and you try to get the quarterback's attention before he gets in to call a play, and you say, run a 48, run it to me, give me a chance to get the ball. Well, if McVeigh keeps running the ball like this, he'll get more opportunities. We've seen this before, but like you say, showing some good speed.
Jay Christensen right at the end of that play went down and still isn't up.
Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join us for the next Stampeder home game, Sunday, October 29th at 1:30 with the
Jones gives to McVeigh again. The Lions are more into this play.
Game, that's Andy McVeigh on the carry.
Well, there's a good look at a fella that, regardless of what the score is, he's got the reputation of going full blast all the time.
He had a few things to say about lineup move alongside him. Rayford Cooks coming in to play defensive end in place of Eugene Mingo, who had been there last week against Hamilton. Klassen indicated too many changes might not be a good idea.
what breaks up any kind of continuity you've been working on, and those guys work together a lot in stunts.
Guess what? There'll be more changes after this game. Jones, is he okay? He went down in a disturbing fashion if you're a Calgary fan, but he's back up with only a slight limp.
Well, you'll see a good shot of it right here. He'll start to move. The contact comes from behind, right there. As he's starting to step forward, the toe or the foot is planted in, and it's almost like the Parker's hand drove the foot in, maybe hitting the Achilles area, but he seems to be all right.
Lions win the sack race. McLaughlin tries another field goal. He's 5 for 5. No, he missed one just for fun. 51-11. The Lions have less than 3 minutes to endure. Ricky Foggy throwing it up for Streeter. Very nearly intercepted. It was caught but out of bounds by Junior Thurman. Eric Streeter, the intended receiver. Again, to put the playoff picture into focus for you, the Stampeders have all but clinched the playoff spot. It could happen tomorrow if Saskatchewan beats Toronto. The only thing that could keep Calgary out of the playoffs now would be a three-way tie for second place involving these two teams and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that could happen. It's up to the Stampeders to prevent it by winning another game or by getting some help, and there's a few ways that could happen. The Lions, 2 points behind Saskatchewan, hoping that that won't be increased to 4 tomorrow. The Tiger Cats with 16, Bombers with 14, Argos with 12, and the mathematicians can start figuring out what would happen in a three-way tie there.
Larry Clarkson back in the lineup. He may be the biggest guard in captivity right now, tipping a little over 300 pounds, back from a knee injury, but that record will be broken tomorrow.
I can't pass this moment. The clock shows 23 minutes and 8 seconds left, and every player on the field said, "Tell us it ain't so." So they've now switched back to the official correct time.
Well, to carry on with this record of mine, that Clarkson being the largest guard that I've ever seen, that record will be broken tomorrow by Miles Gurrell. Mike Dirks returns to the lineup for the Tiger Cats. Dirks will go to the tackle spot, and Miles Gurrell, at about 325 maybe, is going to move to guard. And if he pulls around the corner and hits a defensive back, I'm going to be there to see it. And Earl Winfield back to excite some people. It's going to be a good game.
The Stampeders are taunting the Lions now, which may not be the wisest thing to do should these teams meet in a playoff game. Actually, they have to meet again in a league game.
Well, you saw right there, Ford coming inside, the ideal separation of the defensive line and the offensive, and how that gap can open if the defensive linemen do their job and go to the spots. Although he just blew through there.
Turnover number 8 as the Lions lose the ball. Jones handing it off with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in a 40-point romp for the Calgary Stampeders.
Tony Spallettini, the cousin of the Stampeder right guard, Tom Spallettini. Tony had a bit of a shock earlier on this year. He was told that he may have to back up on the offensive line if they became a little thin in the ranks.
Stampeders know how the Lions feel. If you'll remember, we'll never forget the game in July. Calgary lost by 50 points to the Edmonton Eskimos. And now Calgary gets a chance to beat somebody by 40 points and perhaps more.
Calgary now also has the opportunity in this game, as Edmonton will have for the rest of their season probably, is to get some new people in the lineup and get ready for the playoffs. Get the guys that haven't had the chance to play as much the backup linebackers, running backs into the game and sort of build on that experience because they may need it come playoff time.
Well, let me ask you about Edmonton's situation. The Eskimos clinching first place with 4 games to spare, so they can take as many of those as they want to experiment, to rest players, to make sure Tracy Ham doesn't get hurt. How much of that sort of preparation for the playoffs is too much?
Well, I think you have to get your first units out there and get them play at least 3 quarters. Not saying that any game that they go into is going to be a walk, but if they get into a walk situation, the guy like Tracy Ham can get out maybe at the end of a 3rd quarter if they've got a comfortable lead, and that's when you start that rotation. You know, Rick Warman gets an opportunity and a chance to play. That just pays dividends in the long run, or could.
Well, the Stampeders, as we say, haven't clinched anything officially, and even when they clinch a playoff spot, they'll want to finish 2nd. There's tomorrow's activity, Winnipeg at Hamilton, Toronto at Saskatchewan, in a game that we haven't said a lot about because, quite frankly, I'm not sure where I'd start talking about Ottawa at Edmonton. The Eskimos in first and the Riders in last, west and east respectively. And both of those teams there to stay. Finally, the final minute. Joe Gallat is saying the same thing or thinking it. Scott Leckie beside him, Coach Ron Smeltzer. The looks don't change, and you can look at as many faces as you want over there. Lions next week in Toronto, and we'll have that game for you from the Sky Dome. That's going to be a big game for BC, obviously, and also for the Argos, no matter what happens tomorrow when Toronto plays Saskatchewan.
Well, Toronto's now beginning to look like the Argonauts of old. And a lot of people say, sure, that some of the competition they've been playing in the last little while, last couple games hasn't been maybe up to par, but I'm seeing signs of things that they've done in the last few games that they did well and consistently last year.
It'll be interesting to see what they do tomorrow against Saskatchewan. If the Argos play well and win that game, then they are definitely a factor to be considered in the East. 7 seconds left. It seems like they've been running the last play for the last 45 minutes. Nothing much has mattered since the Stampeders came out of the dressing room to start the 2nd half and played like they did at the end of the 1st half. They just built the lead and kept building it. Eric Uharich and the Stampeders are leaving, so are the Lions, and the last play hasn't happened yet. Now it does. Game over. Calgary 51 and BC 11, and let's make sure they're all just shaking hands there. They are, and Terrence Jones leads the field.